Hello, everyone. So today what we're going to do is we're going to transition into doing some vector arts, art projects for the remainder of this school year, because this will allow us to do some fun little things, and it'll actually give you a little preview of some things that we'll have to do for some film projects a little bit later towards the end. That if we wanted to create something to put on top of that video as like a little watermark or something like that, you would work in the vector art realm in order to create them, because they would be resizable to any size you want without any pixelation. So you can see this picture was actually enlarged. So it's a little fuzzy, a little pixelated, but that's okay because we're gonna create some nice little image from this. I'm not gonna create the whole thing just because I don't want to waste your time, but I want to show you what the process would be in order to create this. So what we're going to do is we are going to, when you open your Google Drawings demo, everyone's going to have this flower and everyone's going to practice tracing it. What we're going to do is we are going to hit the little drop down. Yours may already be like this. You're going to hit the little drop down and switch to polyline. You may recognize Poly. That's like the polygonal lasso tool that we used in Pixlr. It's the same concept, but this time around, we're actually going to be drawing shapes with it. So we have to be really careful, and we have to make sure that we don't click too fast, because then it's going to close off and you're going to have to restart that shape, which is really going to be stinky, but it is what it is. So what we're going to do is we are going to start clicking away, and you're going to see this little light blue line that essentially is going to be created. And because our shape is like it's a poly, that means that it's going to be very sharp lines. So you have to be really considerate of that, that when you're on curves, that you click a bunch of times. But again, do not click too fast, because if you click too fast, your shape's going to end early and you're going to wind up having to redo it. So we want to try to smooth this out as much as possible, make it really nice. And once you kind of get to a spot where it's not going to matter anymore, just come right back down there to the end. You'll see that it's kind of like clicking onto it, but just click and you'll see the shape is created. Now, you may have a spot where it just may look a little junky. So remember, we always try to zoom in a little bit when we're working and then just kind of move down as we can. It is something that will make your life a lot easier. But again, if something's messed up, the nice thing is we can pull these little guys here. We can smooth that line out, make it a little bit more of a curve if need be, stretch them out, put them in the right position. So then this way it's real nice and smooth. And you may be like, Anderson, there is a petal that's on top of that stem. Why do you have it there? The reason why is we have to work backwards. We definitely have to work from the bottom up. So in this case, it's from the back up. So I would draw that that stem, and then now I can come in and I can draw this petal, because I know that this petal is going to be on top of it. You'll also notice that another thing is, and you can see how slow I'm going on these curves, because I want to make sure that those curves are real nice and smooth. But one other thing that you'll notice is that there is an outline to these. We do have to correct that. So I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Now you'll notice that whatever color was the last color that was selected, that's what color the next shape is going to be. So if you do need to change it, you would just come in here and do that. Now see how this has like a little pen that's next to it? If you hover over it for a second, that's your border color. We want to put these as transparent, unless for some reason you specifically want your object to be that outlined in that color. That would be the only case that you would leave it as is. So you can see that I started to build up my my petals of my flower here. What you want to do is you want to try to work on all the ones that are further in the back first. So like, for instance, this one's further in the back, and I might want to use a slightly darker color for this one, because this one is further in the back, because it kind of may have a little bit more shadows. Now, don't worry if you accidentally go over another one, because what you'll do is on that other one, you will just draw on top of it. Okay, so I can see that the next petal kind of up in this area here is this one. It kind of slightly went over this petal here, and then I know that one is definitely on top of that one, and then this one is definitely on top of that one. So I kind of want to work on all the ones that are in the back first, just because it will definitely make my life a lot easier. Just be careful not to move the actual image itself. I sometimes accidentally do that, and it's going to make your life a little harder. But and the other thing is when you're drawing in an area that you're just kind of like trying to just quickly get through, don't worry about what the line looks like, because you're going to add stuff on top of that anyway. So it's not necessarily as important. Now, I know that this petal would probably be in this area, would be the next one. So what I would do is I would just come in here, I would draw my petal. And I'm going to go a little faster, just to, obviously you're going to go a little slower, more methodic than I am. I may want to make that one a little bit lighter, and then maybe I'll make this last one really bright white, because I want to show that this one would be on top. Now, again, I would be going a lot slower if I was trying to make sure that this was perfect. So as I come up, I'm going to zoom out so you can see my image all the way through. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to briefly delete this for a second, just so you can see how it's starting to develop. Okay, now you'll see the petals there. There's probably too much of a jump between this gray here and that white. So I may want to change that maybe, but I would wait till the end to start changing colors, only because this one's in shadow, and you might have another one that's up there that will bridge that gap a little bit more. But you can definitely see how my flower is starting to go. Now, all of this area that's over here, that is a transparent area. So in the very end, when we go to save these, if we save these as a PNG, you'll notice that all of this will be visible in the image, but everything in the back will be blank if we decide to put this on top of something else. If we save it as a JPEG, the whole background will just turn to white, which is probably a better idea if we don't use 100% white on this, because then we won't be able to tell where the white background begins and the leaf ends. So this is pretty much it. All you are going to do is in this project is you are going to create this flower. Don't do anything about the background. You are just going to create all of the petals. You can make it as fancy as you want, or very very straightforward and minimalistic in this as possible. It's up to you. But you do have to have all the petals and the center area here where the pollen would be. You have to have that done. Now, if you're confused on what you can do for that, just know that there are other shapes that you can actually put in here if you desire. So you can put in a circle if you want to fill that area, which you can always resize if it's not perfect the first time around, and reposition it, choose your yellow color. And then what you can do is you can come in here with another circle to represent that center part that's a little bit darker. And then you may want to add in additional little circles a bunch of times in order to represent the little pieces of pollen that we're sticking up there. So again, it will probably be a lot easier to be zoomed in, because then, oops, I hit zoom out by accident. Might be a little bit easier to manage. And again, try to make sure that your shapes, especially this one, the one that's on top, fills in any gaps. We can always talk about how to add one extra shape all the way in the background if absolutely necessary. The other thing that you can mess with, instead of doing a transparent outline, you can always just add a little bit of the same color, just maybe just slightly lighter this way, or slightly darker if need be. then this way it can create that little bit of a shadow for you. But again, we may want to come in here with a bunch of these like little circles just to represent our pollen. Just all you have to do is copy it. So Control C and then Control V, and it'll allow you to come in here and just paste these in. It will give you, it will start like jumping away from you because of just the coding on the way that they do it. So then this way it moves a specific distance, and then this way you're not pasting something right on top of one another. So just know that you don't want to just hit like Control V like a ton of times, otherwise it's going to jump all over on you. So let me zoom out, and that's pretty much it for the video. You're just gonna just start creating this flower, and that's it. We're gonna do something fun with this in the next assignment. So I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you in class.